I think we're live, Jimmy. And my Chinese brothers, don't take it the wrong way. We're the good kind of racist. You're Chinese. I'm black. I don't know where I'm from. Somewhere in the motherland. All right. All right, let me refresh it. I don't see it. They won't let me be great. There we go. All right, share it to Jimmy. If you don't see it.
I see it.
Yeah, they won't let me. They won't even let me share it. They hating on your boy, man.
That's how they do it sometimes, man. I think Facebook don't like us sometimes.
Yeah, they be shutting my wife down when she making money. They be in the middle of a good show. And they shut her down real quick. Like, you making too much money. I'm like, man.
Rio in the house. What up, Rio?
Oh, not the Swami. Not the Swam. The Swamster.
Swami Davis in the house.
The Swamster.
Hmm?
You're not sharing. It's not sharing. The Swam.
My wife said I'm not sharing.
Well, sharing.
Brandon Thomas is in the building.
Sharing is caring, but if you ain't sharing, you must be a Karen. BT. Mike Stafford in the house. The Lady Bruins win a big win over Stanford. Yes. Lord.
Oh, we upset Stanford tonight?
Yeah. UCLA basketball is doing
ladies.
well, man. Ladies and the men's.
Did you see the men's game last night?
Europe, sure did. My old lazy son didn't watch it. I'm like, bruh, one of the guys you train, one of the guys that uses the same trainer as you, plays for the Bruins, man. You should be watching Johnny Juzang every time you play. That should be who you keep your eyes focused on. I don't get it, man. Lady Bruins.
Oh, the boss is telling me something. What's up, boss?
Boss lady. The Swami's in the
She
building.
She over here looking like the bride of Frankenstein by the head.
Oh Lord. Come on the camera, Miss Mac. Show us. She getting something done.
Honey, you know I love you.
The Suns game is
I
everything.
married all that.
Who the Suns playing?
All that over there, I married. The Suns are playing the Nuggets.
Yeah, they got a primetime game.
It's a good game.
Yeah,
It's a good game.
I watched them Sixers earlier, Mike Stafford. I'm sure you watched them Sixers. Them Sixers look pretty good in the East. As the Nets falter once again. Oh, the Nets. They're gonna.
Would you say Airy Berry?
The Nets are gonna
None
be a
way.
problem, but not yet. The Nets gonna have problems. My internet says it's going slow. All right, man. The Nuggets, Mike, are probably all right. What's the score? It must be tight. He said that's everything. I got my Houston Asterisks shirt on for the Asterisks who stole a championship from my
Nice shirt.
Yes, the Asterisks, baby. Houston Asterisks. Hey, man.
The sign Steelers.
I appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate the support, Mike. We got dudes, man. We got dudes, and then when Ben decides to play a little bit of offense, it's like too much. So I'll take it, man. When Ben starts shooting, it's like
Sixers. Yep, Sixers was hitting shots tonight.
Hey,
but
man.
then also there's no Jason Tatum, so
No
the Boston
Tatum.
Celtics would be like, we was without our best player. You know those excuses that always roll off.
Hey, man. Mike said no KD, and they play again tomorrow. I don't know if they need to practice or what. They just don't look. It looks like a pickup game when the Nets play. It looks like a Rico Hines pickup game. It's out there running.
That's what it is. They went and got the Rico Hines All-Stars to go out there and play. That's what it is.
The problem with the Nets, as BT says, only one person can have the ball at a time. They can play. They can score. They can score 140 points a game. They just can't stop nobody from scoring 150.
Yeah, they're not trying to play defense.
No, they're trying to outwin everybody, outscore everybody. I would turn my
They're
TV.
playing like it was it NBA Live 95 where you can put up 100, like dang near 200 points on the computer.
Hey man, whoever got the
That's
ball,
what they
whoever
doing.
get the ball last, we win. 3 minutes left. I would turn my TV on, but it's gonna take some of my stream bandwidth, so I'll wait. I'll wait for y'all tell me, because I'm trying to figure this out, man. I could barely Zoom at work today. It was tripping.
Dang.
It was tripping, man. Something's going on. Well, you figure everybody in the house is streaming. All right, let's get it in, man.
What up, Deacon Hill?
Deacon Hill in the house. Deep. Kyrie and Harden together should be enough. Should. You are absolutely correct. Keyword. Should. All right, man. First topic. I got some. Let's see. First topic. Let's see what we got here. All right. Hand of applause. Hand of applause. We got NFL, man. Looks like we will be without another season of a black coach being hired for a head coach. So we're not surprised. You can't hear me? You can't hear what?
I think it's messing up.
Crashing? Are we crashing? Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah. What up, NPR? The Monarchs are not in the house. All right, man. We're looking at another shutout with black head coaches. And we're not super surprised. As you said, some of our coaches are too black to be the face of franchises. The Rooney Rule does not work. We're tired of going around the same mountain. I've heard a couple of solutions today. What can we do? Is there some?
I don't know what.
Should we even care at this point? Because if we don't get owners and we don't get GMs, we're not gonna get head coaches. So what's?
I'm not for sure what we can do or what can be done. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm not for sure what we can do and what can be done. I just really think that when it comes to all this stuff, they like it the way it is. It's still that stigma of blacks being in positions of power or in charge of something or seen as leadership. When it comes to coaches, well, I was just thinking, like, how many black coaches do we have? We have Coach Omar Epps in Pittsburgh. We have Brian Flores down in Miami.
That's it.
And that's it. I'm like, that's crazy because we have so many black men who have traversed the NFL landscape. A lot of them have been coordinators. A lot of them have been position coaches. But when it comes to hiring, I mean, the coach from Detroit and Philly, they're puzzling, the new coaches.
Very puzzling.
Who are these guys?
I don't know, but one said they're gonna bite some ankles off.
And bust some ankles and bust some kneecaps. Dude gave a wrestling speech for his opening. It was like he was interviewing with Mean Gene Okerlund.
Man,
he was trying to get himself pumped up, but I'm not getting it. Like, they saying these guys don't interview well, but then we throw these white guys out in front of the media and they say the most outlandish. It's like almost remember what was the show Kids Say the Darndest Things? It's like some of these coaches are coming out and they're saying the darndest things. They're just gonna. Listen here, Mean Gene. We get out here with the Detroit Lions. It's like the Detroit Lions is one of the franchises that when I think of NFL football, they're the poverty of the NFL. They've had great players in their franchise history, from Billy Sims to Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. They've had guys, but they can't never put it all together. And one of their main drawbacks has been coaching. When they did have a good enough coach that got them into the playoffs twice in 4 years, had winning seasons, Caldwell, they got rid of him and brought in Matt Patricia, who looked like he was the most disinterested coach in the history of football. But then with the Eagles found their coach in Where's Waldo? He had on a striped shirt and they was like, there he is, there's a coach.
Nick Sirianni. He was a backup. He was an extra on the Sopranos. I was like, dude. Oh, man. I think Rio said, who's this guy? Who is this guy? I was like, yeah, it's a great question. Nick Sirianni was he was the assistant pimp to he was the assistant pimp. He wasn't even a real pimp. He was the assistant pimp.
He was
in Detroit.
He was Powder's assistant.
In Powder's baby Powder. Wow, he was the assistant to Frank Reich. So maybe Frank Reich rubbed off a little bit of baby powder on him. Come on, man. Mike said the Lions coach is a tight end coach.
Bless you,
The ex tight end for the Lions when they were 0-16. This city's been down. Mean Gene.
It's crazy. Like there's nothing that really can be done. I don't see how you can tweak the rule because the rule is you gotta interview a black coach, and that's all they're gonna do. They're gonna interview you, they're gonna say what you're lacking, and then they're gonna bring in Jesse the Body Ventura to be the next coach. That's what they're gonna do.
Mike said
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Mike said the Lions are the Clippers. I wouldn't even say the Clippers are that bad. At least the Clippers, we can watch the Clippers, a Clipper game. I can't watch the Lions game.
Not even on Thanksgiving.
I ain't seen Lions play since Calvin Johnson retired. I ain't cared to see a Lions game ever since Megatron left the building. The Lions will be hiring a new head coach in 2 years. Maybe next year, man. This dude right here said, this talent's been down, but we gonna get up, bite them ankles, dust off them chin straps, pick up our bootstraps, and then when that don't work, pull down their pants. And when that don't work, poke their eyes out. And by that time, we'll be a playoff team. I'm like, this dude right here.
We're going to call on all 2,000 Lion Maniacs. The stadium is 60,000 people, but the whole 2,000 Lion Nation, we're going to rise up.
At the Lions Dome, the Superdome, the Thunderdome. One may enter, one may leave. Two men enter. Who is that guy? Two teams enter, one may leave, and it's going to be the Lions. I'm like, man, you didn't tell me Eric Bieniemy is too hood? This dude sounds straight. Like, I don't want to give you too much coach talk. But when I think about WrestleMania, Mean Gene. He might as well have said that. What's up, Big Vince? He might as well have said, this WrestleMania, 15,000 Hulkamaniacs screaming and hollering. His only qualification is that he played on the Lions team that was 0-16. They don't want to win. You want to keep getting that first pick. They want to get DJ Uwe Agalele.
Uyilagile?
Just say,
you
better say it right, but don't say it at all.
Man, I'm trying to say it right, man. I've been following that kid since him on QB1, even though the story wasn't about him.
Yeah.
But when you're Southern California kids, man, you always want to see them have success.
DJ gonna ball.
I like what Mario said. He said the dude was the touchdown boogie coach.
He showed him how to dance. My man Vince Nelson in the house, one of the only white DBs that play at Long Beach Poly. Straight up, number 46, V. Nelson. What up, big fella? You don't want to
number 46. The coach didn't like you or something. He gave you number 46. Coach gave me 46. I quit that day. I quit. I know how you.
I had 46 in NFL Europe in camp when they couldn't find my jersey. I was 46 for about 2 weeks. I was like, boy, you gotta be balling. And they took a picture of me too. They got a picture of me in press coverage with number 46. I'm like in the serious press. I'm in the serious press technique with number 46. It was real rough. Game tied, 47 seconds. Keep us updated, Mike. Touchdown boogie coach. That's terrible, man. Mike said, white men don't need credentials. Black men need to be the next coming. I thought Eric Bieniemy was the next coming. So it's even more than that. I think it's like a yearly quota. We got 2. Be happy. We got 2 right there.
Hey, Chi-Town Mo said we got to go to Detroit in order to figure out why they made that hire. Man, I got family that live in Detroit, man. I don't talk to them, but I got family that live there. I understand. Believe me, I do.
Jay Bo said that the Clippers ain't the Lions. He said at least we win some games, not so fast. Yeah, the Clippers are the second best team in the West right now. The Lions ain't never the second best team in nothing. Yeah, well, no, in the West. As far as records concerned, they all 11-4. I believe the Clippers and the Lakers 11-4. Clippers win tonight 12-4. It's still early, but they are playing pretty well. At least the Clippers are gonna win. The Lions won't win jack. The Lions going 0-16.
You think so?
I think so. I think Stafford is gone, right? Matt Stafford's gone.
I think Stafford is a free agent. I think he might leave.
He might go to Pittsburgh.
Yes, honey, I know my video is bad. I'm just AC's doing that so all the ladies won't look at me, okay?
It looked like you got vitiligo when your face turned white. I thought it was like,
Hey man, you heard it? You heard of vitiligo? I got re-vitiligo. My skin just get darker and blacker every year.
I just saw a movie last night called, I want to say it's called Cutthroat City, and T.I.'s in it, and Shaolin Fantastic's in it from The Get Down, and they gave T.I. vitiligo on his face. It was the second black movie I've seen where the villain had something wrong with his face. The first one was John Henry, which was a very big disappointment, where Ludacris had that metal jaw, and then they made T.I. have 2 white spots on his face to make him a villain. I was like, why we gotta be all? Why we gotta have a face with this
disfigurement in order to be a villain?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Breakdown said Lions made Barry and Megatron retire early with their moves. Money.
Yeah, they did.
Damn.
They did.
I mean, you gotta be bad. You gotta be bad to make brother just turn away $25 million. Like, I'm gonna pay you $25 million next year. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, dude, I'm good. I don't need that money.
That game is everything. Oh man, I'm missing the game of the year, but there will be
Nuggets and Suns. Neither one of them are doing that.
A replay, so I will watch the fourth quarter at some time. It's going to OT. Well, we could have kept the show going, but I got some hot wings waiting for me, so I got to get this show on the road.
Where you get your wings from? You made them yourself?
I'm about to make them in the air fryer.
Okay.
All right, here, Mark Price said, did you peep Braw's hair? These African-American coaches are too black, but this dude looked like a bum with a fresh shower at the job interview. Who you talking about? You talking about
the Lions coach?
You know, Diamond Dallas Page? Yeah, DDP said, you know how they do? They put the water on their hair before they come out, so their hair look real juicy and wet. And then they do their Triple H and start spitting water. You go hard, man. All right, man. So we're not gonna get a coach. Nothing we can really do about it. What could the players make something like? Could the players demand? Could the players say, you know what, man? If we ain't getting what we want, we ain't playing. What could ever happen? We're not gonna get a. All right. What's gonna happen first? A fair number of coaches, a fair number of GMs, or we get an owner, a black owner. Like, what's gonna really happen in this racist country we live in?
It's not gonna happen, man. Because the players in the NFL don't hold that type of power like the NBA. See, the NBA players, they can really do it. It's a small number of them for a very small amount of jobs, so they're usually going to get the best of the best in there. A lot of times in the NFL, and you know it, there's just guys that's happy that they even get in their tryout. So if there were dudes who decided they was going to sit out and strike, or we're going to make a protest, football is still going on. It'd just be a poor quality of football. That's all that would happen. Those owners are stuck in their ways. They're not going to just do what it takes to really right things. I mean, they were the main ones that was against Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. So they're most definitely. I mean, to me, it's a surprise that we even have as many black quarterbacks in the NFL that we have, and the majority of them have to be spectacular. So when it comes to coaching, when it comes to the GMs, when it comes to ownership is going to come with money. Now, I'm not too sure many black billionaires are wanting to buy teams, but I just don't see that we're going to ever make waves in this, no matter how many rules, because they're willing to give a fresh start to these young white guys. And not saying that they shouldn't, but their qualifications are meager. Lovie Smith has went from Super Bowl runner-up to he's not even in coaching right now. Imagine that. A guy who was he actually was the first African-American coach who got to the Super Bowl because the Bears had won before the Colts did. Right. So he was actually the first African-American to get there, but now he's probably out of coaching. And it makes zero sense.
Yeah, he was coaching in University of Illinois. And
he just got fired.
He just got fired. So if you get fired from a irrelevant university, you're on your way to the Mountain West, and then if after that you better be calling it, you better go back to the MEAC and the SWAC, go back to your I mean, he's married to a pink toe, so I don't know. He might, I don't know if he's down for the struggle. Mike said the Lakers play the Sixers on Wednesday. $2 bet. $2 bet. All right, so if it took us what, 25 years to get to a point where we don't really look at the black quarterback and say he can't play. Like now it's almost there saying he's a good quarterback, not a good black quarterback. It's almost there. You got Pat Mahomes, guys that can just sling it. But if it took us that long to get to a black quarterback being viewed as a competent, intellectual, a cerebral player, how long will it be before they believe black coaches can be intellectual masterminds? So it's ingrained in in the soil of our country, man. It's so hard to get beyond. If it took us 400 years to get to Pat Mahomes, it took 400 years to get to Pat Mahomes. And
we've been playing football that long in this country for
400 years, and we finally got to a point where, okay, the best quarterback in the league is a black man, and he's half. So, and his dad played baseball, so he had his cannon, and his mom is white, so he has at least that.
He has leadership qualities.
Yeah.
His mama was white.
Yeah. When is a real bruh gonna be the president of the United States? Like Barack Obama was mixed. When's a real bruh, like Ray Rhodes, gonna be president of the United States?
Ray Rhodes ain't gonna be no president of the United States ever.
A real bruh.
Not even in his dreams. They'll impeach him in his dreams.
A real bruh, like Ving Rhames or somebody like that.
That's not gonna happen.
We have the meats.
Even the Uncle Ruckuses of the world would be like, you can't have that darky in there like that. Look at him. He got chicken grease all on the podium. Get him out of here.
He gonna paint the White House. He gonna paint the White House pink. He a pimp. Like Pinky.
That old pimp.
Rio says, I feel like the NFL got the juice, but they just won't press the envelope. If Rodgers, Aaron Donald, and some of these elite players put their foot down, I think some stuff will change. But they ain't not gonna do it.
But they're not gonna do that.
Nah,
they're not gonna do
they're
that.
not gonna do it. I remember that one time I didn't travel, and Stokes said, I'm going to talk to Donahue. You traveling this week. And then he went to talk to Donahue and came back to me and said, hey, man, maybe next week. I was like, hey. I said, I thought you had some juice. He patted me on the shoulder. My bad, man. Maybe next week. I was like, man, get out of here. You ain't got no juice. And Donahue said, you want to play? You're like, yeah. Then shut up. Oh, man. It's crazy, man. So we just got to take the whipping, man. I mean, we love football. We couldn't even protest for Cap. Like, we ain't watching the NFL. I'm sitting here watching the NFL on the side like, who winning? You know, I couldn't even protest. I couldn't protest for 2 weeks.
You couldn't protest right?
No, I couldn't protest right. We ain't watching the NFL, cuz. Hey, we boycotting the NFL. I was like, man, I guess I'm a sellout, man. The Eagles playing tonight. I'm watching. Like, you watching the NFL?
I remember that year when everybody was protesting, and I was doing good until my son walked in the room and said, Dad, can you watch a game with me? It was over with. I've been back watching football since. That was like week 14, man. I was like, I'm back. Man. Can't tell this little dude no, man.
Nah, man. Miss Mac said they all real. Thank you. What's all real? What's she talking about? Her pearls and her chucks? Miss Mac.
I don't know, man.
Miss Mac.
She was showing me the hate on the pearls and the chucks.
Okay.
She said it was like 40 white women with mad faces about pearls and chucks. I'm like, how y'all don't like pearls and chucks, man? It's crazy.
Don't be hating. It's
just an outfit.
Just be proud. Just congratulate. I had so many woke bros talking about Biden already. I was like, oh, come on, man. He just got in there. He said, this what y'all wanted. This what y'all wanted. Look.
Hey.
I was like, okay, we're going to talk about it on the show Friday night. We'll see if it really matters to you that much. Denver up 3.
Oh.
Here comes Steve Arredondo. Steve said Eli Manning gets to 2 Super Bowls. What happened? I'm going on the screen. I can't see it. Go on the screen. Stevie, there you go. 2 Super Bowls, and they're going to put him in the envelope. Tom Flores got 2 Super Bowl wins, and he has to have a Coors Light campaign for consideration. I ain't seen Tom Flores in 28 years. I just saw him in a commercial. I said, I didn't know he was still alive. So, like, put that man in the Hall of Fame, please. He's a first Latino to be head coach of a Super Bowl. He ain't in. Eli getting in with a below 500 record.
It's crazy because Tom Flores not only was the first Latino head coach, he was the first NFL Latino quarterback in the NFL at that.
At that.
So he broke two barriers. And I don't even know if they even have him on the ballot because I personally thought he would already have been on there. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls. Was it in the 80s with the Raiders as wild card teams, basically. I thought that they would have gave him his props, but I guess not. Honey, you're loud.
Miss Mac is the broadcasting
on the show.
Miss Mac back there chirping the sideline report. They back there choking. Eli Manning is a band. Oh, she is off the chain. We got Miss Mac needs her own show. I would watch it religiously. All right, man.
She would be on the phone half the show, so I don't know. Not hating on you, honey, but you and that phone.
So NFL players, this is on you. If you want more coaches, NFL coaches of color, y'all gotta help us, man. Us fans can't do nothing. We can stop watching all we want. They just gonna keep playing without us. So if it's gonna happen, because I think we'll get more coaches before we get. No, we'll get more GMs before we get more coaches. Because they're not the face, they're actually behind the scenes. But we might get an owner in the next 10 years, maybe. A group of brothers might try to put together some money, Magic Johnson type guys. And they might let us buy the Chargers or somebody like that. Maybe. So we'll see. The last 4, man. So Pat Mahomes is playing. Does that change anything? Who you got the last 4? I still got Packers, Bills in the chip.
Man, it just killed me because I had KC, Seattle, but Seattle been out, so KC is still going. I'm gonna go with KC, Green Bay. I just don't. I know it makes it seem like I'm a Tom Brady hater, especially since my boy P. Ward picked him off and took him to the house when we played him at Michigan. But I just think they make too big of a deal about Tom Brady, and I don't want to see him go to Tampa and they succeed because it'd be like, see, Jameis Winston was the problem. Jameis Winston wasn't the problem. It's just that Tom isn't doing what Jameis Winston did. He wasn't pushing the ball down the field. They've catered the offense to fit Tom Brady. They were just like, Jameis, go out there and execute what we're telling you. But I just don't want to see that the failure of that black man would turn out to be the crowning achievement of this. And not that Brady isn't great. He's a great quarterback. But it would be the crowning achievement of his career. Yeah. And we'll just hear that on media all the time. And I just really don't want to hear that narrative in 2021. I don't want to hear that he's the greatest of all time when he just went to a team that was full of Pro Bowl receivers and tight ends. And he had a running back this year that ran for over 200 yards in the game. You know, he got a good defensive coordinator. They'll give him all the credit and just make it seem like he carried those boys across the finish line. So I'm gonna go Green Bay, Kansas City, the rematch from the first Super Bowl. And I'm gonna go with KC. I just think Green Bay won't have enough to stop KC. All right,
Beatrice in the house. What's up? Footballer War Room, defective member. She's out. She's an independent right now. We have a new sports group. Lonnie Graham started a new sports group. I believe it's called Sports War Room Debate Team or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
I gotta get used to it.
War Room Sports Debate. Yeah,
War Room Sports Debate.
I made the first comment in here.
The first comment by Jimmy Mack.
I made the first comment.
I'm gonna have to talk to Lonnie. It's too many topics in there. I didn't have time today to comment on everything. I thought he was gonna do one topic per day. My man ripped off like 20 of them. I was like, hey.
Yes, he did.
I said, man, we just got in here. Beatrice, appreciate you coming through. Home girl, Miss Mack. Who's she banging on now? She banging on somebody again? Come on, Miss Mack. That ain't how the Deltas roll.
She banging on NPR. NPR said to blink if I'm in trouble. So
oh man,
I had to blink a couple of times. I might be in trouble.
Mahomes and the Packers. I'm a Brady hater. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a A.A. Ron fan, but I do believe A.A. Ron would have had at least 7 chips if he was in Tom Brady's shoes and they switched spots. Like, I think his talent was never matched by his personnel on the Packers. The Packers never really gave him the defense that he needed. And I believe that one year they had a championship, and then this year they're close to that. So I think he has a really good chance. Winston didn't have that green light like Brady does. Yeah, he did. He had 6,000 yards. He only had 35 picks. They weren't all his fault. He led the league in yards.
Threw a lot of them.
He had a lot of yards. He had 6,000 yards. So the boy can throw it. He just throws it to the wrong team sometimes.
Well, he got that corrective laser eye surgery, so he was getting some players confused.
Watch how good he plays for Sean Payton next year. He's gonna be just fine. How will you assist him if he is start blinking? Oh man, she's still on your head. Damn, Miss Mac.
Yep, that's how it works around in the microwave house.
Beatrice.
Hey Mo, I know it will kill you if Green Bay was to win that Super Bowl, Mo.
Oh man,
I know it would kill you.
Beatrice said there's so many topics in that group. We're gonna talk to Lonnie about it and see what's going on. I had to ask him why would you shut down the war room if it was too much work, and now you're gonna put 18 topics per day in this room. Are you gonna monitor it every day or once a week? I don't know. I know it's a lot of work to be an administrator in these groups. I'm a counterpuncher. I'll just jump in and throw what I know. If I know something, I'll throw something. If I don't know something, I'll just be quiet. Or I'll throw a meme in there or a GIF. He said no memes.
We can't do memes and GIFs no more.
Like, that ain't no fun. Sometimes I want to throw a meme in there. Jimmy Wood had the first comment. Yeah, Jimmy was like waiting. He was like waiting and comment. Like
no. So what happened is that when I woke up this morning, I was like, okay, I got a little time before the class started. Let me see what the topics are. That was like topic number 7. I figured everybody else didn't answer something. I seen so many topics. I was like, you know what? That's something I can comment on before I get started on my busy work day. And Lonnie hit me back and said I made the first comment. And I was like, all right, there we go. I did something first for the first time.
Big Mark Paul Robinson is probably one of the biggest, strongest dudes I know. He's scared of Miss Mac. He says, Mac, you on your own, bro. I'm big and strong, but I ain't messing with Mrs. Mac. Nah, man.
Miss Mac she's all talk, no bite. But her sisters got all the bite in the world. That's who I'm scared of.
That's who you got to worry about.
I'm scared if I step out of line.
She do that
her
Delta
sisters
sign.
Will be over here.
She do that Delta sign. They just assemble. She does that. She like, oh, okay, y'all want to act crazy? Bing, and they just all show up to the house. What's going on? Hey, what's going on, girl? What's going on? You called? Like, it's super friends. You on your own. How can we ban gifts? We not. Lonnie gonna say no gifts. I'm gonna put gifts and memes in there. He gonna be mad. I'm gonna accompany every comment with the meme and a gift. He gonna be like, man, you breaking the rules. I'm gonna be on punishment.
He ain't gonna see you no more hair care products if you do that. You ain't gonna get no more Soul Glow if you do that, man.
I got my Soul Glow t-shirt for him now too. All right, man. Next topic. Let's see what we got. Okay. So the Bernie Sanders memes are hilarious. By the way, I'm gonna have to make some.
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna have to make some. Bernie Sanders was kicking it too tough at the inauguration. All right. So the first order of business for a president is to sign executive orders, and one of the orders is continuing the rights for the LGBTQ community, which would include the youth sports, high school and college sports, young people who identify as a gender that they were not born as. So a lot of my friends this morning went bat crazy saying, see, they're going to make them compete with our girls, our daughters. This is what y'all wanted. Tell me y'all support this. And I'm kind of like, okay, so before I respond, what is this? What are we talking about? And it goes back, I believe I have a picture of the young man who now identifies as a young lady in a track meet. And where'd it go? And he looked.
Isn't that Texas where he was breaking all the records?
This is Connecticut. So my home state, Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut. Okay.
There's a picture on the screen if you are able to see Facebook. And I believe he's had the surgery. But you can see his shoulders, you can see his legs. He's a boy, and he's smashing. And the young man next to him on the left is a boy who identifies as a girl as well. But the one that's winning, this was 2 transgender girls that were boys. And they're, of course, destroying the girls, the natural girls. So the uproar is this fair? Is this something that we want? You voted for Biden. Is this what you wanted? And I know it's going to be a topic of conflict, of controversy, of debate, of people picking a side. But how concerned are we at this point in that we got a new administration and this was on the first day of work? This is one of the major topics. How concerned are you as a person that has a young daughter? I have a daughter. She did not run track as she should have, but for sports like track and field where they will be competing, I don't think it will be for combat sports. That's where they have to draw the line. But for like track and field and things like that, are you concerned about this legislation?
I'm concerned about it because this isn't a Republican or Democrat problem. This is an inclusion problem. Some of the things I have beef with when it comes to inclusion and things, because this wasn't, I remember this in Connecticut, but I remember in Texas, I think it was, they were doing wrestling. They did allow a transgender girl to wrestle the girls, and she was winning. And just like they in MMA, they had the one time where the transgender girl fought the other girl and like dang near killed her, beat her down in a ring. I don't care what you think that you identify as, and I'm gonna go with this because Dave Chappelle said it best. What if all of a sudden LeBron James decided to say, I am a woman, and then, or I identify as a woman, and then went into the WNBA? He's like, he would score 800 points a game. We know that there are people that have no morals in society, that in order to feel like I need to be ahead or I need to win, they would do things like this. They would really, okay, I suck as a boy athlete, but I'm better than the girls. I identify as a girl. Not necessarily that that's something that they would really want to do, but they want to be a winner at something. And they don't care who they're hurt in the process or how it's going to look. They're going to be considered a winner. And you've seen in track and field when it came to Caster Semenya. Caster Semenya has gone through all type of testing. And Caster Semenya is a big African, a South African 800 runner. She was just dominating the field. Mm-hmm. They embarrassed her so much. And I'm not for sure what the whole thing is, because supposedly she has her testicles on the inside or something like that. And she's maybe hermaphrodite or something like that. But they shamed her so bad that she doesn't try to win in the biggest of competitions. She'll dominate like the Diamond League. But when it gets to world championships or the Olympics, she kind of holds back because she doesn't want the criticism. I think what we have to understand is that you can feel a certain way. And I support you on that. But we got to deal in reality. I can't feel that I'm a girl and then go outside and beat up a girl. I'm a man. I'm still... Even if I can't really fight, I'm strong enough to hit her once or hit her twice, or even grab her and wrestle her down and hurt her, because I feel or I identify as something that I'm not, and that's the lack of want to put reality into it. Because I know if my daughter, say if she was in track and field and she had to race this guy who feels that he's a girl, even if he got all the sex changes and stuff like that, I still, in reality, is going to understand that she's going to still be at a disadvantage, because a lot of them have to take medicines and stuff to suppress their hormones and stuff like that. If they're running track, why would I do that? Why would I suppress my natural advantage just so I can fit in? So it's not a good look. I understand the inclusion because we know how it is. I mean, but with something like track and field, even gay men can be fast. It's nothing going to be wrong. They're going to still be fast. I mean, if you're just not faster than everybody else, don't go cheat. And that's what I mean. I just think that the moral obligation to this is so wrong, because it's no way that these, despite how they feel they identify, or even if they got the sex change, they shouldn't be competing against women. It's still an unfair advantage.
This picture is Bloomfield High transgender athlete Terry Miller. He's second from the left in the red. He wins the final in the 55-meter dash over transgender athlete Andrea Yearwood. So I'm wondering if Andrea is a girl and she's identifying as, no, she's a boy. I could tell by her shoulders. But they competed because Connecticut allowed it. And I believe this order that was signed is going to make it universal. Are we going to see a influx of transgender athletes? I don't think we will see a ton. We'll see a few here and there, and then we parents or we coaches have to find a way to make it not fair. I mean, make it fair for our girls. Like, this is not fair for those girls to train their whole lives and come to a race. So there has to be some kind of distinction. I got my asterisk shirt on for a reason. There has to be like, if I lost to a boy, if I'm a girl and I lost to a boy, I would still claim to be the winner. I won. It's not the same. It's not fair. I am all for allowing people, like, I'm for gay marriage and things like that. I don't care. They're gonna get married. Give them their rights. They deserve their people.
Yes.
But I know when it comes to competition, I don't support that. It's not fair. And it's just like you said, LeBron James started playing women's basketball or began to fight mixed martial arts, and he identified this. Imagine 6'9", 260-pound LeBronia James trying to fight. So
wouldn't be fair.
No, it says this is what one of the transgender athletes says, though. This is what the young lady in the black says. She says, running has been so important for my identity, my growth as a person, and my ability to survive in a world that discriminates against me. Andrea Yearwood wrote to the courts, I am thankful that I live in Connecticut, where I can be treated as a girl and in all aspects of life and not face discrimination at school. So this executive order will make them feel like they've been included, but there's no way they're gonna be able to destroy these girls in these athletic competitions and not feel the heat from parents and spectators, because morally you're winning because of what? And it's the elephant in the room. It really is. It really is tough. Beatrice chimes in and says, she says, I don't care what anyone says. This is in my best Beatrice voice. I don't care what anyone says. There is testosterone issues here. As much as I love competing with boys, I don't think it's fair. And you have your right to your opinion, and nobody can get mad at it. And I think some people were like, well, you voted for him. No administration is perfect.
Yeah.
You just got to take the lesson.
But I didn't vote for him to do this.
No, this. I assume most politicians are going to be pro LGBTQ. They don't want to get canceled, like Dave Chappelle said. You don't mess with that.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them. You want them on your side, because they protest. They protest and get your job taken away. They don't play. There are. You can
insult somebody on Facebook as long as you don't use homophobic vernacular. You won't get canceled. You can talk bad about somebody. You can talk about somebody like they're a dog. Yeah. And as soon as you put any homosexual vernacular in it, they will flag your account.
It's a wrap.
And say that that's against the code of what Facebook is. So.
At all, man. Rexon said there are governing body rules for this, but this doesn't account for 15 to 20-year-olds of muscle development as a male prior to medication surgery. A huge advantage. Huge advantage. I mean, smashing. I wonder what that time was. This girl probably got Jimmy's time in the 55-meter dash. He looked like he rolling. Man. He looked like he rolling. When somebody is hollering while they're running, they are flying. He like He looked like he rolling, mouth open, hair looking crazy, looking like show enough. Oh yeah.
Who's the master?
All the way through. Miss Max says they can have different categories: men, women, and transgender. That's it. Just like the bathroom. Yeah. Just like the bathrooms. Everybody's included. This is a race. And call it something cool. You know, elite, the elite heat, the gold heat, the platinum heat. Don't call it, everybody's welcome to run in this race. Because I lost.
And I think they should do that.
Yeah, I lost to a girl one time in a race. I was 5th grade. Tina Tyson transferred in from Mississippi. She was 6'2" in the 5th grade with a jerry curl. We raced on a Tuesday morning, because Monday we talked junk, and then Tuesday morning we said we're gonna race tomorrow morning before school. Tina came with her white jeans, had like a little light blue t-shirt on. I'm messing around playing marbles with my friends in the dirt. She called me out, and the whole school gathered around the track. and we had a 50-yard dash, and she must have smoked me by 10 yards.
Ooh.
And it was Tina Tyson. I was like, good God, from Mississippi. I didn't lose no more races, though. I trained after that.
The state of Mississippi.
I trained.
Interested in your marble playing non-racing Long Beach self.
They then do a co-ed race. Yeah, they can have a co-ed race as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, Rio says, I agree, Mac and AC. To me, that's a big disadvantage for women. It may sound harsh, but in competition, you have to run against guys. And if it's just track and field, is it just track and field because we have women playing football, but they don't identify as men? It's just a female playing football. I think this conversation will be very layered because we're talking about medication and sex changes and that type of thing. But as long as it's not a combat sport, I see them still trying to mingle it. But I believe an extra heat and an asterisk to let us know what we're looking at, because I don't want my daughter to get her whole training regimen destroyed by somebody who is not the same gender as her. So it's just tough. But I'm not going to lose sleep. I have a scripture. I'm going to preach on this one. I have a scripture for this. My man Mark Paul is part of my church. He know what I'm talking about. So my scripture is this, man. It's Titus 3:9. Avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. That's Titus 3:9. So I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over this. I'm going to let it be. Just like gay marriage, just like abortion, I can't control it. A woman's body is her body. Why am I going to lose my sleep over that? Do I agree with certain things? No. Do I agree with other things? Yes. But why would I lose sleep and say, oh, man, take my vote back. Biden is the worst. I know we had to get 45 out of here for my son to be safe in the next 4 years. Yeah. So I'll live with this over what I was seeing the Proud Boys gearing up to do. So.
You know what I think would be the tipping point of this that will really make it a very contentious thing? If the NCAA start allowing the transgender female athletes start competing at the NCAA level, that's when I think it will become a problem, because now you're messing with big money. So you'll have, like, say Alabama have 3 or 4 transgender females on the relay team, or on a team period. They'll just dominate. They'll just destroy the NCAA and women's track and field. So I think that's when it will become a contentious problem, because I'm not even for sure if that kid right there that ran high school would even get a scholarship. Because because of what they're doing. But once one school decides, you know what, the coach goes, I got a great idea. We get a bunch of transgenders on my team and have this advantage, and we'll start winning. That's when it will become a problem.
What did the Alabama coach take? Was it Bam Cunningham? He said, "Come to my locker room."
Yeah.
Now this is a football player. We need to start recruiting the black athlete. Tired of getting beat by the black athlete. I'm gonna start recruiting some transgenders, and we're gonna get some speed up in this bad boy one way or another. We're gonna get some speed. Mark Paul says that so they can feel like they can be themselves by competing against natural girls. But what about the natural young ladies competing against them? That's the issue. It's not fair to our little girls. Like I would, how mad. My daughter, Mark. My daughter would talk crazy if she walked up to the blocks and looked over and it's a dude. She would act the stone nut. She would be at the red coat. Look at this. This is not right. This right here. I trained for weeks and this boy is gonna try to take my medal. No. So let that happen in LA. That happened in Connecticut. Everybody they raced against with little white girls. Let that come to LSU. They not having it. They're not having it. We'll see, man. I like to see how these things play out, but I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over it. I can't. It's not my. If I'm coaching track and field, and I have my girls' team, and we see it, and it's the opposition, I will give them a talk and let them know, we're going to run our race regardless of what's happening. And I'm going to talk to the governing bodies and see if we can't get some act right, because you guys do deserve to move on. We shouldn't be going home because of this. And but it's high school. It's not not like you said, not college, no money involved. But if you got a scholarship waiting for you, it doesn't matter what that transgender boy does. As long as you run your race, LSU still calling, and you still get the look you want. So it's concerning, but it's not something I'm gonna lose a lot of sleep over. All right, man. Hammerin' Hank Aaron passed away today, man. One of the GOATs. Hank Aaron. So before Barry Bonds, before Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, all these home run champions that we saw, it was Hammerin' Hank, man. And sadly enough, he died, 2 weeks after he took the vaccine?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a connection there. He was, 84?
Mm-hmm.
But, rest in peace to a legend. I like to run off all our legends as their stats and what they meant to the game. And him being a gentleman, getting through the times he got through. Saying it was the roughest 2 years of his life as he approached beating, was it Babe Ruth's record?
Yep.
755 home runs. 1957 NL MVP. He was a World Series champion. 25-time All-Star. Wow. 3-time Gold Glove. 2-time batting champion. MLB All-Century team. And he was in the Hall of Fame in 1982. A gentleman to the end. Hammerin' Hank. And he played in the Deep South, man. Just imagine playing in the Deep South. And you're about to beat the Elvis Presley of baseball's record. So you imagine the hate that he felt and received from the Deep South. So if Jackie Robinson was his idol, Hank Aaron has to be the idol of a lot of people of color that played after him. So,
yeah.
Hank Aaron, man. Legend. I wouldn't say gone too soon. He lived a good full life, man. But,
Yeah, 86 years old is a good long life.
86 or 84. He definitely goes down in the record books. All right, so real quick before I go to what's game plan, Coach, did you see the Shaq interview with Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I saw the Shaq interview with Donovan Mitchell. To me, it was nothing, man.
No big deal.
It was no big deal. I think Donovan Mitchell kind of took it kind of like a slight, but I just think he's not paying Shaq any attention. I think right now, a lot of the younger players are in the NBA now. When older players, especially if they're legends, take shots at them, I think they kind of see it as whatever, man. These dudes are they're just running off at the mouth. Like you're not playing right now. You're not doing what I have to do. I mean, you got to think Donovan Mitchell is the best player on his team. He's 6'1". I just think he wasn't expecting what Shaq said, but he was just like, whatever, man. Because Shaq has thrown out jabs at players that I think Shaq is one of those guys, he feels threatened by a lot of the new breed that if he's going to disappear. I think Shaq doesn't quite fully understand, just like I don't think how Shaq fully understand that when he played, how dominant he should have been. Mm-hmm. I think Shaq always feels that he's going to disappear because this new generation of players is getting love. So he has to kick them down a little bit or take them down a peg when he sees them do something great or do something spectacular. Like right now, Utah Jazz are probably the hottest team in the NBA. And Mitchell has been playing really well. And I just think Shaq is kind of like, okay, we got another young pup trying to walk his way into the rings of the top 20 or top 25 or top 10, whatever he feels that he's ranked at. And he just said something. And he tried to make it seem like he was saying something to motivate Donovan Mitchell. But at the end of the day, it's still a shot. It's not, if you're a thinking man and you understand what the rhetoric was, then you know that he was taking a shot because it's still a team game. Like, was it last night or 2 nights ago where the girl from Michigan scored 50 points in the game? They still lost, but she scored 50. So what would he say? I still don't think that you can take that to the next level. Hell, I scored 50 points in the game. I'm the second woman in the past 20 years or something like that to score 50 points in the game and have 15 rebounds, but you would knock me down a peg.
Yeah.
So I just think it was Shaq in a way kind of just running off at the mouth and hating a little bit, but trying to flip it to where I'm trying to motivate this dude to take it to the next level. The Jazz is not winning a championship unless every team catch Corona. I just don't think they're that team.
That's terrible. I think from Shaq's point of view, I'm gonna argue the other side. It's a different generation. I believe Shaq's our generation. He's a X, and I believe Donovan is a millennial, if not a Z. I think there's a gap, whereas Shaq and Kobe and Michael Jordan, that era talked a little bit more harsh and a little bit more combative. So I think what he was saying is, I think your game is awesome, but you don't have what it takes. What do you have to say to that? A Kobe Bryant would say, watch me then. You know what I'm saying? Like he's used to a young guy popping off and giving him some okay, if I ain't got what it takes, watch what I do to this league in the next 5 years. He's used to a comeback, whereas Donovan Mitchell being maybe the passive aggressive KD LeBron type in answering questions, like I don't even want to give this guy my attention or give him any fuel to his fire by answering his question by just saying okay. And that moment, his face just looks like every student I've ever had that I've challenged in the classroom, and they think I'm being extra. Like, you trying to clown me in front of my friends. Like, no, I'm not trying to clown you. Yeah. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to buck up and show me that you got some gumption, that you're gonna show me. I'm gonna show you, Mr. Cobbs. I said, you keep giving me basic work. I know you can do better than this. I don't think you can because you don't want to. You're afraid of being successful. Show me something better. Why you gotta put me on blast? So I think that's where I was more upset with Donovan Mitchell. I know Shaq's a jerk. I know he does this a lot. I remember Shaq giving one answer to reporters' questions, being a jerk in an interview. So Donovan Mitchell gave him a little taste of his own medicine. But what Shaq came at him with was a diss and an opportunity to retort my diss. What do you have to say to that? And he set him up like a 3-0 pitch. Like, what do you want to say? I just said it. You're supposed to say this, but you didn't. So Shaq said, okay, I wanted to hear you say it. Okay. So Shaq's response to his okay was one that we not going to be ever cool again. Shaq is a hater of Donovan Mitchell. When the whole time he was giving him praise and he said, I think he could do more, and I'm going to challenge him in a certain way. Did he go about it the wrong way? That's how Shaq talks. Charles Barkley did the same thing. They're real old heads that don't want these young boys to take their shine. But at the same time, you on live TV, you're going to be a megastar. Megastars have personality. They don't say, okay. What would have Kyrie said? What if Kyrie would have said probably okay too? What would
Kyrie would have talked bad about him?
Oh, what would have Dame said? Dame would have said, "Oh, for real, Shaq."
Dame would have rapped against him.
Did a rap? So it's just, how do you think someone's supposed to respond to your challenge? If your challenge is like rhetorical, your challenge is hypothetical, your challenge is a diss, it's his right to just ignore you. His smile saying, "I'm not going to entertain you, Shaq."
Yeah. So
you can take it how you want, but I just think that it's probably going to get blown out of proportion by Shaq moving forward. Just like Shaq and JaVale McGee's and Shaq and the Fool. Some of these young guys are real sensitive. So Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to play with Shaq. I don't know. Let's see what everybody's talking about. Going back up to Hank Aaron. I didn't see the comments. Here they go. James Mack said 44. Praying hands. Hank Aaron was one of my childhood heroes, says Shot-Town Mo. He was a great baseball player and even a better man. Appreciate that, Shot-Town Mo. Rio says, one of the greatest pioneers of baseball. Yes, indeed. Miss Mack said his birthday was 1934, which makes him 86. Thank you, Miss Mack. All right, on the current topic, Shot-Town Mo said, Shaq and Chuck be in their feelings, especially this year. Donovan is a very good young player that needs help. Shaq quickly forgets he needed another great player to get over the top. Yeah, I think what Charles was saying is that Spider has never had 10 assists. So somewhere or another, he got to change that part of his game. He has the ball way too much not to have 10 assists. once in a while.
But that's not his job to assist the ball. Everybody has their role. That's like saying, well, Michael, you know, and that's not his thing.
Yeah.
Or he never led the league in assists. That's not his thing. His thing was to score. Everybody has a role on the team, and that's what people forget. Teams have roles. Some teams have multiple players that do the scoring. Donovan Mitchell is their primary scorer. You take Donovan Mitchell off that team, who's their player that you're going to get the ball to when it's on the line? Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley Jr. I mean, who's their guy? He's their guy. I'm not looking for him to get assists. I'm looking for him to play within the role of the team for us to have success. And that's what I think a lot of old school heads forget. Like, you would hear them say something and then you go, but that's not what that guy's role is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wasn't Shaq. Like, Shaq thing was to get the ball, dominate the paint, be the big man, be the big guy.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell can't be the big guy. He can't dominate the paint. He can only do what his abilities give him. So that's why he has teammates to make up for whatever he lacks. That's what they're supposed to give. Like, Shaq couldn't shoot free throws, so he would get the other team in foul trouble. Then you foul one of the good free throw shooters. That's when the Lakers are have a carousel at the free throw line. That's part of it. That was his role.
Yeah.
So this is how it works.
J Max says it's Stephen A. Smith syndrome. Got something to say? Ms. Max said he's trying not to end up on Sacking the Fool. Oh, he's going to be on there now. They're looking for him now. Every time he do one thing wrong, Shaq going to be on his head. Rio says, in fairness, though, these young cats think they're arrived, but they're not battle-tested. They are much more sensitive. Case in point, KD is so fragile. And that's why I likened it to the KD. It's a KD response. They don't want to deal with that. That's not how he's wired. He's non-confrontational.
Yeah.
That's just.
But they'll go out there and bust you for 40 or 50. Like, remember last year when Donovan Mitchell in the bubble in the playoffs against Denver, even though they lost the series, didn't he have like back-to-back games like 40, 50 points or something like that? So Donovan Mitchell can play.
Yeah.
That's not act like he can't step his game up. Because I score 60 and we don't win don't mean I'm not clutch. Back to the clutch conversation. Where's Anthony Carter at when we need him?
He'll be on here. As soon as you say clutch, he arrives. Clutch. He just magically arrives after you say clutch. Who said clutch? Somebody said Mookie. Somebody said Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts or clutch. Mookie Betts. They doing all this scoring with a league that doesn't play no defense. It's a pickup game most of them nights into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Mark Paul said these.
But they score more in the 80s. This is funny because people talk about how they don't play no defense. They scored more in the 80s when it was supposedly a great defensive league than they do now. With the hand checking and all that stuff, they still score more in the 80s. So I don't understand. I know people will say, well, the pace of the game was faster. That doesn't mean that you couldn't grab the ball and have slowed it down at some point. Remember, the highest scoring game in NBA history happened in the 1980s. The Denver Nuggets and the Detroit Pistons. They broke the scoreboard. They scored so dang much. So it's just really, it's really crazy, man. How they do this. Because even last night, me and my wife talked about this morning. They were saying like the Lakers held Giannis to 25. When is somebody scoring 25 points in the NBA game like I held him down? If somebody scored 25 points on me, I'd be mad. Like,
that's a bucket.
Dang, I didn't really do my job.
That's a walking bucket. Yeah, hold him to 12 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold him to 11. Yeah. Hold him to 9. And, some free throws or something. He had 25. That's a good game. That's like almost the scoring champ. Like, there's a few points off the scoring champion. Mark Paul said these young cats are soft. Young kids are soft. They ain't that soft. They're non-confrontational. I mean, I got mad at my son. I said, man, that kid called you trash. You just gonna let him call you trash? Like, it's okay to call you trash? You're not gonna give him an elbow next time you come down the court? You're not gonna kind of give him a little body next time? You're just gonna let it be okay? You cool with being called trash? I'm like, yeah, okay. Let my mom find out you let them call you trash. Mom, Nana gonna be on your head.
We teach our kids. But think about it, in our society nowadays, we do teach our kids to be kind of passive because, especially if your kid is black, because you minority, things can be taken overboard. Like, in his Latin wrestling, it was all good. But when the little white kid came over there and wrestled and got thrown down, then it became a problem.
Yeah.
So it's just like we telling our kids, like, hey, man, you got to avoid this and this and this. It's like we didn't have to deal with that because we kind of grew up in all minority neighborhoods and deal with minority kids. Being rough was the 3 fights in a day. Nowadays, we have moved out and we've integrated ourselves into a different community. We have to let our kids know you can be tough, but you can't be overly tough, or you can't just be that kid like little kid kind of. They're gonna blow it way out of proportion because of the color of your skin. And you gotta understand, a lot of these dudes have grown up that way with their parents teaching them that, and by playing travel ball, they probably have to play all white teams. They probably have to play teams in other cities where you gotta act straight or act right, or they'll steal this from us.
Yeah.
They'll steal this from us. So act right. We don't need you out there trash talking and showboating. Get the job done and let's go home. So they're just kind of ingrained in them because of what the society is.
Well, here's one. Here's an example. Say this is the same scenario, but it's Allen Iverson. Shaq says, AI, I like your game. You're incredible. I just don't think you have what it takes to make it to that next level. AI will say, F you, Shaq. Punk ass nigga. When I see you, my goon's gonna be on your head, and then I'm gonna drop 50 on y'all, and then you're gonna have to tell me how great I am. Holla at your boy and drop the mic and leave. That's AI. That's a whole nother generation. A whole nother generation of toughness. A challenge.
But Shaq would have never said that to AI because of who AI was. He knew that, like, if I say this to be confrontation with AI, we're gonna have a problem.
He said, I know I can go after Donovan Mitchell. I know he's soft. I'm gonna go after him. You soft. You terrible. What do you have to say about that? I guess you're right, Shaq. You're a Hall of Famer and I'm not. It's crazy, man. Rio said, just like they ready to anoint Embiid, Shaq called him out and he embraced the challenge. So quit being so sensitive. Everybody's different, man.
That's because Embiid's a clown. Embiid's a clown.
Yeah.
Embiid, like even watching him play tonight, some of the things that Embiid
flopping,
do on the court, man, it's Dennis Rodman like, dude. I'm like, look at this.
Hey,
cat,
he
dude.
can play though. I said all that flopping is comical, but it gets free throws though. So I'm like, hey, he on my team. I'm gonna let it ride. If he wasn't on the Sixers, I'd hate him. I hate his game. They're like how great he is. I said he is a sandwich away from being fat. He's like a couple sandwiches away. Anything that he would have said would have been considered disrespectful. I don't think so, Miss Mac. I would have said, oh, Shaq, it's like that? All right. What I need to do to prove to you I got what it takes to make it to the next level. I want to see you do more, score 50 points a game and 12 assists and sometimes get 10 rebounds. All right, I got you next game. But that's not my game plan. Coach wants me to do this. This is what I'm doing. But just so you happy, so you can continue to watch my games, you can watch me next game and you'll see what you want to see. All right, young fella. Okay, I'll see what you got. It was a way to make that work. It was a way to work the room right there. And Donovan said, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. And now tomorrow the reporter's gonna be like, yo, Donovan, so you and Shaq are not friends anymore? You and Shaq got beef? He's like, man, I don't care what Shaq talking about. I got a game to play tonight.
Yep.
Kyrie, Stevie says, Kyrie would have told him to walk off the edge of the earth. You know, you can do, Shaq. You can walk your butt that way off the edge of the earth.
And prove my theory right.
Yeah.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
I don't hold it against Spider. Shaq has a longer platform. Old head hate. Yep. I just know I wouldn't have let him off the hook that easily. These new players are too sensitive. Shaq was right. Mike said they too sensitive. It's just I've had harsh coaches. I've had coaches tell me, you playing like a little girl right now. How do do you take that?
That's sexist nowadays.
You can't say that now. This is 1989. This is 1988, 1980. This is 1989. This is like middle school PE teacher popping you in the butt with a towel, telling you to get a shower, quit being a pansy. Get in that shower, quit being pansies. Psh. It's a different time.
Hey, AC.
Yo.
AC, did your coach tell you like this? You play ball like a girl. Did he do you like that?
Just like that. No, that's the worst thing you could have said. No, anything but that. You're killing me, Smalls. The fact that he had 10 assists or 10 rebounds more than once. He did, but they're just saying in order for the Jazz to be that next level, he has to up his game. But I think, like you said, Jimmy, that ain't his role. That's going to be Mike Conley's job. That might be Engel's job. His job is just the gun. And then when light skin come in the game, who's the guy that Kobe called light skin? Quit playing. I am playing light skin. What's that dude's name?
Yeah, Clarkson, Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson. He guns when he comes in the game. He gets 20 points. That's a job. Like you said, a roll's a roll, man. Motown in the house. The dog's in the house. Let the dog start barking. Mac, you're wrong. You say, Mac, you're wrong. He can't be one-dimensional. And
Who said that?
Mike said, you can't be wrong, one-dimensional, and to consider
Mike.
a player that can get you there. He needs to play better defense as well. I mean, they all do. James Harden does. Kyrie does. The whole Nets team does. But what he's saying, though, if that's all he is Shaq wrong, saying you're great at what you do, but to be the next level player, I don't think you have it in you. So when someone
You're talking about a 6-foot dude.
What else could he do?
he can do what he can do at 6 feet, man.
But he can play better defense. Is he that quick? I'm no NBA player, but I never let any old head talk crazy to me on the court. That includes my pops, my friends. You talk smack, you're going to get busted up. Father-in-laws, too. Yeah, I'm afraid to bring Mark around certain people. Mark will beat up your uncle in a pickup game. Mark don't play at all. Mark gets serious. Let somebody foul Mark hard. I feel for that dude. He's going to get it at some point in this game. That's
Mark, you a pickup game goon, man. That's what you are in NPR.
I feel
pickup game goon.
I feel so safe when Mark's on my team. I feel so safe. That pick and roll gonna be so violent. And he the one doing the shooting. So because his jumper, I'm the one giving the screen. So he come off the screen, he runs through me and the dude and knocks down the three. It's crazy. That's because dudes can't shoot in today's game. They can shoot.
I don't know. We got good shooters in today's game. They just take too many shots.
Yeah.
The quality of shot is bad in the NBA. It's a bad shot league now, even in college. I see.
Yeah.
I forgot what college game I was watching. It was a UCLA game with Cal. Man, a lot of those dudes were just taking bad shots. They just play the percentages. I'm not gonna miss every shot. They just throw shots up a lot of times.
I think the mentality now is if you're open within the scheme of the offense, the percentage-wise, if it's gonna be a 12-footer. And it's a 50% chance you make a 12-footer. You might as well shoot a three. I believe that was a Rick Pitino coaching point. If you're going to shoot a high percentage shot, then shoot it. But if you're going to shoot a low percentage shot, you might as well shoot a three. And that's today's offense. If I'm going to shoot a jump shot,
might as well make it a three.
If it's 35% chance for me making a three, and it's a 45% chance for me hitting the 12-footer, go for the three. That's kind of what we see. Rexon said, NBA is not WWE. Mic and promo skills not required, and it's not a big deal. He played it safe instead of going off the reservation. He does need to improve, but Shaq works his brand into making it about him. Brand promotion. That's Shaq, man. And I think Donovan probably has a PR guy and says, don't go there if you don't want that smoke. It's up to you, man. What's your brand going to be? I would win at him. I would win right back at Shaq. That's Shaq is Chris Motan's frat brother. 25 is a career day for the most dudes in the NBA. 25 points. But Donovan Mitchell scored 35 a night. Soft, says Rio. Mark says AC tries to bully me when I play against him. Just thought I don't be trying to bully him. I just try to touch him up so he don't feel left lonely out there. I touch him up a little bit. It's full hand checking when Mark plays. Full hand checking. And then if Mark and Mike play, it's like two rhinoceros out there playing. Mark Paul Robinson, man, I'm gonna bust your ass. You ain't gonna do nothing. I don't know, Mike. Mark Paul jumper is wet. AI also play football, so different attitude. Yeah, I think that's what it is, Mac. We play football. Somebody call you out, I'm gonna bust you up. When you ain't looking.
Yeah, you had a chance to really retaliate, like in the legal realms.
Embiid is a clown for recognizing that one of the greatest at his position told him what's up. Man, he took the message and is better for it. Embiid is bullying again. So we'll see. Happy Founders Day, Mrs. Mac. As Motown said, Miss Mac for them Deltas. Miss Mac and them Deltas throwing it up. Like the Queens.
Where honey, get some love.
Yeah. They play football. Rated T, just win. All right, I think we on. Where we at? All right,
What's the
what's
game plan, coach? You know our favorite game.
All right, what's the game plan, coach? Before we get to our NCAA women's teams. All right, what's the game plan, coach? All right, I'll go first this week.
All right.
What I got? I think I wrote it down. I put where I put my questions at. All right, here we go. All right, man. So we talked about it a little bit earlier. You're the Detroit Lions coach, Dan Campbell. Mac Campbell. You just made that ridiculous speech at the press conference. You're going to bite some kneecaps off. You're going to slap some people. You're going to get Detroit back on the map some kind of way. Now, the next day you get word that every valuable player on your team now wants out of the organization because they don't believe in your coaching ability. With the players being able to kind of force their way out, as we saw Jamal Adams and other guys do, and we're going to see Watson do it in Houston. What's the game plan, coach? You done dug yourself a hole. What's the game plan, coach?
Well, listen here, Mean Gene. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all them pansy asses that don't want to be a part of the program, and I'm shipping them out. And then I'm going to take all the young guys I can, and we going to build. We going to bust kneecaps. We going to bust ankles. We catching fades in the stands. I want guys that's going to get dirty.
Nah, man, let them go. Let them go. I mean, to me, as a coach, even at the high school level where I just take in what I get. I'm not going to go recruit a high school kid. I don't believe in sitting 12-year-olds living rooms trying to get them to come play for me. I'm going to take what I can get. You guys want to leave? Y'all don't want to be here? Then you got to go. I'll trade some of those players that are assets, try to get guys that I think can fit into what I'm doing and what I can get asset-wise in a draft. Even if I can get 3rd and 4th round picks or even 5th and 6th round picks. NFL coaching at that level is very, very important because you have to because the difference between the highest scoring team and the lowest scoring team sometimes is only 3 points. It's only 3 points. So if I can find a way in my scheme to get these guys that are supposedly lesser talented to stay within that realm of 3 points, I think we can flip some wins. So all the guys that don't want to buy in or want to be there, even though they're getting checks, man, let's ship them out. Let's see what we can get for that. Because hey, I'm in Detroit anyway. My expectations is that I might make the playoff once. I might have 1 or 2 winning seasons. At least if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it on my own terms. So I'm more for shipping these guys out and trying to collect assets and hoping that my scouting division, when it comes to even scouting other players off of other teams, okay, this is what we're trying to run. That guy fits into this scheme. Let's get those guys here. So that's what I would do. That's what I would be looking forward to if guys didn't want to buy in. That would be my game plan. And I would talk to the GM and say, hey, look, my job depends on the groceries that you buy. Your job depends on how I make these groceries work for the meal. Let's do this our way, and if we fail, then we fail doing it our way. But we're not going to let these players hold us hostage.
Cool. And I think that's going to be the thing moving forward. James Harden effect. You got guys who don't want to be there. You got to do something with them. You got to do something with them. Get what you can from them. All right, what you got?
All right, so what's the game plan, coach? You're a track coach. You have 6 dudes who made the section finals. Your top 2 guys are ranked 1 and 2 in the 200 and 400 meters. You have 2 dudes who are ranked 5 and 6 in the 100. You have 1 relay dog who made the finals in both the 100 and 200. And you have 1 guy who was ranked 3rd in the 800. But your relays will be the key to the league title. Who makes both the 4x1 and the 4x400 relay teams?
Well, I know my 800 meter runners on the 4x4 because he's strong enough. He's strong enough to do both the 8 and the 400 meter relay. My 5 and 6 in the 100. It really depends, man. I think as we ran in high school, we had this dilemma. We had 6 to 7 guys that can go, and it was always kind of like depending on how that meet was going. and how the competition was set up and who was running what leg when. We didn't have a set 4x4. We didn't have a set 4x1. It was depending on who we were going against. So I found myself running anchor. I found myself running third leg. I found myself running first. Depends on who we're going against. So I would have to look at my team and see. Well, it wouldn't be set in stone. It would be a look at the opponent's lane assignments and everything to make sure I got everybody in the best position to win. Track and field ain't every time it's not the same. Like them handoffs, man. Just who works best together, who hands the baton off without being a big issue. Like it's hard to find chemistry on a 4x1. The 4x4 not as important, but it can equate to a second if it's some people that don't like each other or don't get down like that. So I would have to really know my kids. I don't even know how I would line them up. It would depend on how. Of course, I would balance it out. I would want to win both races. So of course I put my top sprinters in the 4x1, but that 4x4 could be the meaning. The last race of the day could really make or break the championship. So I really want to make sure my 4 strongest racers are ready to go by the 4x4. So it depends on the race, depends on the track meet, depends on the opponent, line assignments, all that good stuff.
All right.
Great question, man. Great question. That's the track and field questions, man. I used to be a track coach, and it was like, who I put out there? Who gonna give me what they got, or who gonna go there and lay one down? All right, man. All right. Number 2 for you. All right. It's your 8th season in the MLB. You're a Major League Baseball player. You're borderline Hall of Fame, but you're probably not gonna make it in. You're a pretty good player. You played in the league 8 years. You're in the last year of your contract, and you're being paid the veteran's minimum due to an injury you had last pay period. So you're not grip, but you're making pretty good money as an MLB player. Problem is, you live in a lavish life, like you're doing big things, like you've been living the life, lavish lifestyle, but you owe more than you make. Your teammates and your agent come to you saying, look, you need to get paid. You need to have a breakout season. You need to hit some home runs. There's this new PED, performance enhancing drug. It's not illegal because it's not on the list of banned substances. Everybody's using it. It's on the black market, but it has not been approved by the FDA. It does some of the same things that the cream and Andro does. What's the game plan, Coach?
Oh man, you had me thinking about this, man.
You want to get paid
I'm
one
not
time.
one for, I'm not one for cheating, man.
It ain't cheating. It ain't cheating yet. It's not on the ban. It ain't on the banned substance list.
Still cheating.
It ain't cheating yet.
Cheating.
Everybody uses supplements.
Oh man, I just can't bring myself to do that because just like when we were taking creatine in college, it's not gonna work well for everybody. Like I got sick behind taking creatine. Other people didn't. So I'm always skeptical of any type of substance, man. Like we even know the rumors of our girl Flojo. People were saying the reason why she died so early and so suddenly was because she was taking PEDs. So I don't ever want that cloud hanging over my head. I would just have to adjust my lifestyle or call one of the homies to flip a couple of thousand for me and bring it back.
A life of
crime? I don't know, man.
A life of crime or a 1 year steroid? I'm going to flip this bird.
I can't do it, man. I just don't believe in putting substances in our bodies, man. I think in the long run, even some of the stuff that we do that's considered clean is going to have these side effects. A couple of years ago, I was reading up on what's the number one thing that puts people in an emergency room. It's not even careless mistakes. It's supplements.
Salt.
People need supplements,
Table
man.
salt.
Table salt, vitamins, man. People overload on vitamin C, and next thing you know, they're in the hospital for too much vitamin C in their system. So you got to be careful with these substances. I mean, I get it. As Mo says, Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was a great player even before he did that. I'm the mid-level exception. I shouldn't have been living a
lavish life.
A lavish life anyway. But Yeah, I just can't cheat the game, man. It's hard for me to bring myself to cheating. And I know my family motto is if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But it's more so as a motto of never allowing somebody to outgame playing you or to outthink you or to outdo you at something. It's not necessarily cheating. It's just making sure that you're overly prepared to do something.
Would the wife encourage you to take it if she knew the circumstance?
I don't know. Can I ask her?
Ask her.
Please, honey. Would you allow me to take steroids?
It ain't steroids.
To enhance or supplement.
Yeah.
It's not steroids. The supplements that's going to enhance my plan for a big fat payday. Would you allow me to do that?
No.
She said no.
Oh, my wife would be like, take your food. My wife, this is it. This is
He
it.
said his wife would say, take your food. This is it.
This is it.
No, what are the side effects?
There ain't no side effect.
Yeah.
We already got.
Now what you gonna do?
We already.
The side effect is more money.
Yeah, we already got kids. We
Here go. You die off and leave me a rich woman?
I die off and leave you a rich woman.
Hey, you married for money now. As a second chance. Married for money.
Don't y'all let him kill him so I can get on and move on. Here go. I let you die so I can get on and move on to Michael B. Jordan.
Hey, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He'll be in the Hall of Fame with an asterisk on it, and you be with Michael B. Jordan somewhere in Wakanda. Yep. Y'all can live in Wakanda and live off and drive onto the subset. My wife would be like, take the money, fool. This is it. My wife would have been like Regina King in Jerry Maguire. We owe more than that. When she got that contract.
Hey, I loved her role in that movie.
She
man.
was that was the
role,
best.
Man.
That was the best little side role. She played that part because I was there.
Yes, she did.
My wife was taking my little checks, and I was in it. She was like, "Give me the money, fool. We're gonna buy a house. You better not get hurt." She was like, "Baby, you strong. You can do it." All right, what you got? Number 2.
All right, number 2. So your favorite nephew plays for the opposing team and is their starting running back. He has been getting lightly recruited and needs film for the scouts because they are not sold on him. A good game against your team could determine if he's going to get a real good look. Your run defense is top tier. What you going to do, Coach?
We
You looking out for family or you looking out for team?
I'm gonna do both. We're gonna blow them out in the first half. Starters in, get up to about 25. Get up by 25. Third quarter, play my backups. Let him get some money. Let him get his yards against my backups. Put the starters back in. See if he does any better. Hopefully he has 100 yards in the third quarter, like Marshall Falk used to do us when we played San Diego State. And he still looked like a monster by having just a couple of good runs. So it depends on what was lacking in his film up to that point, why he was not getting recruited. Having a good game against us would just mean 100 yards. Being able to brag about it. I don't think scouts really care if he got 100 yards against my backups. He had 100 yards versus Polly. That's all they would hear. So I would find a way to get both done. It wouldn't be point shaving. It wouldn't be getting family some love. I would find a way to make it work. I wouldn't embarrass him so he wouldn't get no yards. I've seen it done before. I don't want to say his name. One of my coaches, his son played at a school that somehow or another played against us. And that one game, that kid went off. It was the coach's son from a different team. And he played against the coach. And I cut the video for him. And I'm like, you sure played a lot of zone this game. Made sure his son got the peel. You know, if you play man-to-man, he ain't getting the ball because we had beast cornerbacks. But that game, he played a lot of zone, so he got the ball a lot. So there's a way of doing it, helping your family out and still win the game. Just trying not to. It's like in basketball. When St. Anthony's plays against a small poop butt team, they press the whole game. There's no way for a kid to even get off. But if you wanted to see the kid have, some success, you call off the dogs and play balanced defense. So I don't think it's a bad thing to call off the dogs in order for you to see. It's almost like what Rodney Sox here said as a referee the other day. He said he called a technical foul on a kid that goes to his church, and his mama ain't his friend to this day. It's like, well, how much love do you give somebody you completely do against what you call? Like, I'm not going to not say don't tackle him, but I'm going to put in some guys that you should get some yards against. If you can't get yards against my second string, you shouldn't get no scholarship no way. I don't know. It's probably. I don't know if I could pull a whole defense. I'd pull a couple of guys here and there to see if it made a difference. But I'd try to help him out. But if he can't get yards on his own, it ain't meant to be. So hopefully he gets some yards, nephew. That's all I can do for you. All right, for you, number 2, or number 3? Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
All right, there you go. Third and final one. All right, you are coaching a high school football team, and your son is a senior on that team, and your son's a stud, but he's not getting the love that he wants from the schools that he likes. He's getting mid-major offers, no Pac-12, no SECs. Your team's been given the okay to practice during the COVID season. You guys are about ready to play a season. Then boom, season's canceled. No football, period. No regular season, no CIF playoffs, nothing. For public schools only. Private schools get wind of this and start poaching players. Your local private school offers your top 5 players, including your son, a free ride, tuition to play at this Catholic high school that is traditionally racist. The caveat here, they're playing against top talent, so that the exposure will be obvious. They'll get the looks they need to get scholarships. But you're a Christian pastor of a church, and you've already told the congregation and people that you talk to that there's no way you will let your son play at this racist Catholic institution that only wants to use our boys for their athletic ability. What's the game plan, coach, for these 5 players?
The game plan for these 5 players is that I'm going to most definitely sit them down. For sure, my son isn't playing. There's no way that I'm going to send my son to a school that, well, one, I'm always private for public school education, and in private school would be like a last effort thing for if I felt that would be right for my kid. He can't hack it in the public school system for one way or another. But for the fact that the school has been racist and have shown racism in the past, he's most definitely not going there, because I don't know what he's going to deal with on the day-to-day at that school. And I wouldn't want him going through that just for the fact to play sports. Of course, to all the kids, especially my son, who's, even though he's a 3-star recruit, he's being recruited by a lot of mid-majors. A lot of mid-major players have success. Walter Payton, one of the greatest running backs, arguably the greatest player to ever play the game, he went to a HBCU. Jerry Rice, another guy you can arguably say is the greatest player to ever play in the NFL, HBCU. Antonio Brown, AB, even with all his craziness, went to Central Michigan and was a hell of a player and what set the NFL record for most 1,000-yard seasons in a row or something like that. So I will let him know that it's not where you land at as a player, because now we have the transfer portal and stuff like that. Say if my son goes to Nevada, Reno, and he balls out, I mean, you can transfer to SC, you can transfer to UCLA, you can do all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and create a plan. I'm not going to most definitely let my son go play at a school that I know, modern day, that's going to be skeptical about. Like even Fivo said Strahan, and my wife said Aaron McNair. So there's been proof that you can go to a smaller school and not only be good when you're at that school, you can be great in your NFL career. So I would just reinforce that with my son. I know you won't be able to live out your dream. Like, I didn't go to my dream school. My dream school was USC. Not that I wasn't recruited by USC. It's just that I felt I was a better fit at UCLA. So I'm most definitely it's not going to let my son play. But for the other kids, those other players, that's going to be up to their parents. I'm just going to tell them what I feel about it, give them my opinion, my input, and then after that, they can make their own deal. But my son's not going.
What about them not playing a senior season? Just for the senior experience, they're not going to get that either.
Yeah, I know that, but hopefully with that plan, because now that we're doing this, just in my situation right now with me and my wife's a college counselor at her high school. We can start enrolling our son into community college classes and stuff like that. So then he can go to the college and do spring ball. You know, if he's going to be he can be an early enrollee at one of these mid-majors, so he can hurry up and get his opportunity before you even get to the season. Like when you're coming in as a freshman for fall, he can do it for spring. And that will be something that we'll be pushing in a situation like this, because what COVID started last year in 2020, so we're in 2021, and this is going to be a senior year. I think that we'd already start game planning for this just in case he can't get there. We know the colleges are going to play because they got money involved. So getting him to that college level early, especially sometimes in your senior year, you get these little knacks and bruises and injuries, and you lose scholarships, you lose offers because you're injured or because they don't have enough film or things like that. So I think that's part of the catch-22. Yeah, he could have balled out his senior year, but also we're going to take less wear and tear on his body. And if these colleges are really interested, they'll get him. And even if he lands at a mid-major, we're fine, because the goal is to be seen. And with all the film that they have nowadays that's available, he's going to be seen at some point or another.
Would you let him play club ball?
No, I'm not for that either. I'm not for that either. I believe in representing your high school. I'm not very big on the club ball thing, or because I remember when we were in high school, when you did 7-on-7, you did it with your high school. Now they have all these 7-on-7 clubs and things like that. I just think it takes away from the value of that playing for your brothers at the school, because a lot of those times those kids aren't loyal to your school. They're loyal to that coach that does the 7-on-7s, because they feel that person's doing more for them, because they're able to break the rules and talk to college coaches and do things like that, where when you were just at the high school, you kind of, if you respect the rules, you're kind of handcuffed to what you can do.
Moton said most of these guys already got scholarships before the senior year. Very few unknown guys get Power 5 scholarship based on the senior year. True. But I was one.
That's pretty true.
That's
true, Moton.
I was one, though. I only had mid-majors and far-out schools junior year. Senior year, I got SC, Washington, UCLA, based on my first 3 games. It was a different time, though. This was VHS tape, where time took a while to get there. But, yeah, it's a different time. And, yeah, that's what it is. All right, man. Good answer.
All right.
Last one.
All right, here we go. Last one for you. Your daughter is on your team. She loses her starting job to a freshman who is without a doubt the better point guard. But your daughter could also play the shooting guard as well, and would clearly be better than the starting shooting guard, who is also a senior. Your daughter is heartbroken in it, and if you put her over ahead of the other shooting guard, you will have 2 heartbroken players because they are best friends. What is your game plan, Coach? What you gonna do?
I'm gonna make up some cockamamie bull story that we're gonna go with 2 shooting guards and a point guard. Whoever my three small forward, depends on who's the most sensitive and who's not as sensitive. I could go with 2 shooting guards and a power forward in the center, no small forward. So it really depends on the makeup of my daughter and her friend. If they would really gel together on the court, if I can't have 2 shooting guards on the court at the same time, then I would really have to just make sure my daughter knew it was important for her to be in the game at the end. Starting is not as important. I'll give her that story about when I was a NFL Europe player, and I told the coach I would rather end the game than start the game if I got to rotate at all. So I don't want anyone to think optically that I'm putting my daughter in there over another girl. You guys are going to play equal number of minutes. I just need, you to be understanding what this has looked like. And I know the heartbroken part is hard with girls, but if I can't play them all at the same time, I would really have to, see who mentally can take it. Who would be okay with coming off the bench being the 6th man? Because I was one who took pride in being the 6th man. I came in the game and the coach said, you come off the bench, you got the green light. I said, I'd rather have that than come in the game and not be at the green light. If I start the game, I don't have a green light, and I come in the game as a 6th man, I got the green light, give me that. And I'm in the game in the 4th quarter, I'll take that. So it really depends on, that best friend thing, and that jealousy thing is real big in girls basketball. But I would really hope my daughter is mentally tough enough to understand that daddy's in a position right here. And I don't want you to think that I'm being having favoritism towards you because you're my daughter. I think it's best for the team right now for you to come off the bench, and you can gun when you come off the bench. And most likely you'll be in the game at the end. I'm going with the hot hand. I'll just have to talk to her like that. But if she got her spot took, she should know with her own vision that girl took her job. And it's not my job to just let you stay and hurt the team. The best players are going to play. If she's good enough to play, she's going to play. Who's starting shouldn't matter. So it'd be just some hard talks. But I have to be a real cognizant, aware dad at that moment. If this is something that's going to destroy my daughter and I relationship, I got to have a happy house. And I don't want my daughter biting my head off every time I say something to her. So it'd just be something that I really have to take to prayer and see what I do with that. I wouldn't be.
Daddy, you ain't gonna let me start? I'm your baby.
That's all she would say. Rio said, I love my daughter. Would love to be a shooting guard. Go talk to her and explain to her that this is the best opportunity to win. Take your feelings out of it. That's easy to say, Rio.
Easy to say. Looking your baby girl in her eyes and telling her no, that's a tough thing for dads, man.
Said, my poor baby, she coming off the bench.
Not if her daddy coaching.
She coming off the bench. My baby coming
say
off
when she go
the
in
bench. All right. That's it. Drum roll. Top 5 women's NCAA squads. Squad up. Max said you got a point there. Facts. Yeah, you're going to have a mad household, boy. If you won't come at her a little bit more sentimental, she ain't having it, man. Motown said his son was trash in sports. Not an issue. Like his son, Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Jordan's son's trash. I ain't worried about him. All right, man. So who's your number 5 team?
Man, I forgot to send you my list, man, because I fell asleep. My allergies was acting up, and I took some cold medicine so I can.
So we can imagine. We'll imagine, and we'll Google the teams later if I don't have it.
We'll imagine.
Already picked
All
up.
right. So my number 5 was the 2019 Baylor Bears. My mom was born in Waco, Texas, so I have a soft spot for Baylor Bears women's basketball team, and I like the 2019 championship team over the Brittany Griner team because maybe they have one of my favorite players, Dee Dee Rich, on the team. So my Baylor 2019 team is my 5th favorite team.
My number 5 team is let's see, the 1993 Texas Tech Lady Red Raiders, starring Cheryl Swoops. So
I was about to say Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops. That was one of the teams that around the time we were leaving high school. She got me back into watching women's basketball because she was the talk of the town and she was balling and she never disappointed and they won the championship. So she was fun to watch with her little bangs, and she was a baller. So Texas Tech, 1993.
Cheryl Swoops had KD game. Her mid-range jumper was on point, and her pull-up jumper was on point.
She was a robot. She was a machine.
Yes, she was. My number 4 team is South Carolina 2017. I'm a gigantic Dawn Staley fan when she played at University of Virginia with the Heather and Heidi Bird, the Bird twins. Mm-hmm. And then she never won it. So when she finally won it in 2017 with that South Carolina team, they automatically jumped as a sentimental favorite of mine because it was a long time coming. She had won Olympic gold medals. She was a good player overseas. Played a little bit in the WNBA and was good, but she never won it at the college level. And for her to be the coach, the black female coach, she wasn't the first black female coach to win it because that was Carolyn Peck at Purdue, or was she at Notre Dame? But Purdue. The fact that Dawn Staley won it, and she won it with her girls, with those girls like that, and basically she created the HBCU at South Carolina. Their whole team is black.
Yeah,
their whole team is black. So. That's one of my sentimental favorites to see Dawn Staley finally get hers.
Yeah, I think that whole culture down there is awesome. I don't see how any girl could turn that down. If she goes there and sees the love that Dawn Staley has in that town. I saw a piece on it, and it's just amazing how she turned that thing around. So my number 4 is University of Tennessee, 1998, the whole skull Tamika Catchings team, coached by Pat Summitt. That team was just incredible. I wasn't even a huge Tennessee fan, but they had a squad and they were on TV every week. They were on the cover of SI. They were just making noise and they never disappointed when you saw them play. They were a well-oiled machine. So that's my number 4, UT. And then I believe she walked away from basketball pretty prematurely. She just lost her love for it. Did she come back? I lost.
So Holtzclaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. I think she battled some depression.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it was more identity depression. Like I think she wasn't being accepted in her family for being lesbian.
She was gay.
And that messed her up with her game, because she was by far one of the top college players we had ever seen at that point.
Yeah.
But once she got to that next level, I think family pressures and outside pressures other than basketball just kind of tore her down.
That team averaged 90 points a game with an average margin of victory of 31.2 points. So it was Shamika Holtzclaw, Tamika Catchings, and Shamika Randall, a.k.a. Meeks. And they won the national championship over La Tech, 93-75. Mm-hmm. They were smashing girls, man. All right, number 3.
Number 3, pretty much the same team that you had, except I did their whole time, because the only time that they didn't win it was their freshman year. They won 3 national titles in a row. So it's still that same Tennessee team, but I'm adding 2 years because it was basically that same core from 96 to 98. I remember when they won it in 96, they wasn't even the top seed. They just made a hell of a run through the tournament, and they ended up winning it, which led to 3 in a row. And it looked like Tennessee was just going to be this ultimate dynasty. Like they were going to be what UConn ended up being.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like. And I'm like you. I wasn't that big of a Tennessee fan, but I did admire and respect Pat Summitt because of what I knew about her. And I always seen Tennessee as a national player, because I'm a giant women's college basketball fan. So they were always a national player. And the fact that a woman like Pat Summitt had these girls winning at such a young age all the way through their senior year to win 3 in a row, that's my number 3 team right there.
Yeah, Pat Summitt just passed away, I believe, recently. So I saw all the girls wearing the Summit jerseys this weekend. Or was it yesterday? Might have been yesterday. I watched.
It was yesterday when they played UConn.
Yeah. They didn't pull it out, but they represented. So I have number 3, 1983-1984 USC Trojans with Cheryl Miller and Dr. Paula, Dr. Pam. I'm not that they're both doctors. the McGee twins. So I was in the library, and I want to say I was 10 years old, and I came across an SI magazine in the library, and Cheryl Miller was on it, and she was just so cute to me. I fell in love with her from this one little magazine cover, and I thought, wow. And I was just like, look at all those legs. And I just didn't know much about the other side at that point. I just knew that she had some mascara on, her curl was popping. It wasn't juicy wet. It was just a nice little fro. So I had a little crush on Cheryl Miller, and then found out she was a baller like that. So I was immediately a USC girls women's basketball fan in 1983 through 86. So that's one of my favorite teams.
All right.
And they beat the Lady La Tech Texters that following year. Yep.
And I think they beat Tennessee in the next year, right?
Yep.
They beat La Tech and Tennessee.
Yep.
That's my same team. That's my number 2 team, the 83-84 USC team. But you left off one of their big ballers. Cynthia Cooper was on that team, man.
No, Cynthia
Cooper was on that team.
Was
from
she?
Block High School. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I was focused on.
I remember.
Cheryl.
You focus on them legs of Cheryl Miller, huh?
Who knew? I was barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah. We used to go to their games. My dad, he used to throw papers for the LA Times, and this lady was a big SC fan, and she was up in age, so she gave our family season tickets for the USC women's basketball. Me and my older brother, we're like, man, we ain't trying to go see no women play no basketball. We want to see the men's games. But to our delight, we were watching greatness and history take place with the McGee twins, Cheryl Miller, with Cynthia Cooper, balling out at these SC games. And we would go to all their home games at the sports arena. And it was one game where Cheryl Miller went for a loose ball because we had courtside seats, and she fell into where we were at.
Oh.
And my brother was like, touch her. Touch her. But she was seriously hurt. She was hurt.
Oh, no.
She didn't come back into the game. And he was like, man, you had a chance to touch Cheryl Miller because we would go back to school and brag on how great she was as a player.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely crazy that the dudes be like, man, no girl can ball like that. No girl can ball like that. Like, this girl's a baller. So thank God that I had the experience. I got a chance to see that firsthand. And that was my team. Those girls of USC.
What did Cheryl?
That's my number 2.
What does Cheryl smell like? Jerry curl juice or baby cocoa butter?
She smelled like she smelled like sweat.
Oh.
She smelled like sweat. And I think they were playing Long Beach State at that time in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And that time, Long Beach State was one of the top teams in the nation as well.
Yeah.
So it was a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know how I remember all this stuff. That's crazy.
Because you were a fan. You were probably studying this stuff. You're Stat Mac, baby Stat Mac. That'd be a good little show. A young kid who just is enamored with stats. And he just goes to games and he remembers everything.
That would be crazy.
Stat Mac. That's a comic book strip. All right, so where we at? So that was your number 2?
You're number 2. Mm-hmm.
So
you're number 2.
My number 2 is the 1982 La Tech Lady Texters. All them Jerry curls and them nasty blue shirts. The Lady Texters. And they crazy looking outfits, but all I remember is Jerry curls and pressing. They had them super aggressive, white girls, super aggressive sisters. And I my first time even seeing women's basketball was Lady Tech, and I'm like, dang, they're aggressive. So just being able to see them, and they were the first ever, I believe, NCAA tournament champions. I don't think they had championships before that. So 1982, Lady Texas.
Oh, those uniforms are terrible. like a bowling shirt.
It was a bowling shirt. I was like, these uniforms are terrible, but they have the Lady Texters, as if we cared about the boy Texters, like the men. Like nobody cared about La Tech. They put La Tech on the map. That's my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey on the team, the coach at Baylor. She was the point guard on that team for the Lady Texas. As a matter of fact, that's her right there at the bottom left. If you're looking at your screen on Facebook, yep, it's Kim Mulkey right there.
Oh, wow.
All right, here we go. My number 1.
Historical.
My number 1 is, of course, the Lady Bruins, UCLA, 1999. More so, I love this team maybe because I knew these girls personally. Mm-hmm. Went to school with them, played pickup basketball with them, even went to some of their practices during the Halloween when I would dress up like a girl and I would go down to the practice and act like I'm the new girl joining the team. And it was so much fun hanging out with them, partying with them, that they were really like Melana Martin, Erica Gomez, Marie Fellman. Marie Fellman was like my favorite player because she was a 3-and-D type player. They were the nicest women on and off the court, and I just really enjoyed being around them, hanging out with them, and the fact that they would always embrace me when I was around. Like, hey, this is our football player, Matt, come here. You got to score a touchdown and give us love. They would say things like that, like give us our love when you do something. Get in the camera and be like, I love UCLA women's basketball. So it would be a joke because I was a dude that scored a touchdown, gave the ball back to the ref, and let my teammates mob me and threw me up in the air and help me up. Other than that, I mean, I really enjoyed being around those young ladies. They're still like, I just remember going to their games, and even after I had graduated, I would call the UCLA women's basketball games for the UCLA radio network, and I just loved it, enjoyed it. And I remember that team made it all the way to the Elite Eight, and they lost to La Tech. So I really enjoyed those girls. I love them still to this day, and that's my favorite team of all time.
Yeah, I'm still friends with Erica Gomez. That was my homegirl. That's my yin and my yang homegirl. She was pretty ferocious. I'm like, you're too aggressive. You're too aggressive to be so small. Like something's wrong with you. Like something's really, really wrong with you. You're too aggressive. Rio said that number 1 for him was Tennessee with Candace Parker. He thought she was gonna be the next year.
Candace Parker just number 1 to him. That's what.
Yeah, he said he's mad for who she married. Talking about, I look better than that dude. That ain't hard to do. That dude looked like an alien. Miss Max said they didn't want to be referred to as the Lady Bulldogs. Yeah, Lady Bulldogs is not very attractive.
No, that's an ugly name.
She said, which dude? You know which dude. Ironhead Hayward, Sheldon Williams. My number 1 team, UConn, with Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Swin Cash, Asia Jones, and you know I'm born in Connecticut, so I'm 2002 Yukon Huskies.
That was a team.
That was a squad, and they were such a machine. They passed the ball, fundamentally sound, cheered for each other, and I believe Gino Auriemma, I don't even know how you say his name, Auriemma wouldn't let a woman play for his squad if she wasn't the right personality. So he had the perfect mix of young women that were hungry, ferocious, and can actually play. And a lot of these girls played in WNBA for many, many years, and they were perfect, undefeated, and they brought some pride back to the state of Connecticut. So my number one favorite team was the Yukon Huskies of 2002. All right, man. And I also have some honorable mentions. I had my Notre Dame team, 2012.
Sky
Diggs. That's my girl. That's my word. And Candace Parker, 2007. I'm with Rio on that one. She is easy on the eyes. And then she didn't marry that crazy looking dude.
That Cleon?
She married that Cleon. All right, man. Final words. I know you guys don't know this kid, but I have a kid in my class. A little backstory of him: he's a young man who has some problems dealing with his sexual identity. He's openly gay, but he's a Latino male, and that's kind of frowned upon in his family. But the real prayer for him is that he has corona right now, and I want the world for this young man, because over the past, I've been knowing him since his freshman year at Gardena, and he has grown as a person. He wants to fulfill a destiny of his to make it in life and raise up himself academically and economically. And I just feel for him, because he is in this crazy world. There's no way I can really reach out to him and get to him, but I want to send prayers his way. And I would love for our 1585 community to send prayers this young man's way. I hope that he doesn't befall into the tragedy of this pandemic. And I just want the best for this young man. So if it's 1585 family can pray up and let this young man overcome corona so he can fulfill his destiny as becoming this man that is going to lift him and his family up economically. I would totally appreciate that. I hope that this young man makes it through. Prayers definitely up, man. And it's a tough time psychologically, period, for a lot of our young people. So I think that's a really, really good way to go out, that we should just make sure we pray for those we have connection with during this time. And that, yes, it's a new day. The sun is bright. The sky is blue, but people are still dealing with this pandemic. I got tested last week. It came back not detected, so I guess that's a good thing. But we still got to keep our guard up as much as possible. Don't be out there slipping. I know Rio had another negative test. That's a good thing. But there are people that don't. They have positive tests, and they are going through, am I going to die? What am I going to experience in these next 2 weeks with this virus? So I know that's a very good gesture, statement, that we should continue to lift people up in prayer, being positive, staying masked up, staying socially distanced, and being cognizant of people's apprehensions. If you're not afraid, somebody else still might be. So even in my own house, I got to take my wife and my daughters into account. They're a little bit more fearful of this coronavirus, and rightfully so. Father-in-law is 85 years old, so I got to be really careful, because I cut his hair. I go, meet with him in his office. I gotta be careful for his sake. Even though I think, if I had it already, I can beat it. It's still alive and well. And as much as I'm against vaccines, I know that that's gonna be a big part of opening the world back up. So I'm gonna continue to pray about that, if I'm gonna do that or not. Being in education, you and I both have to understand they're gonna probably strong arm us to take it. So, just got to make sure that I pray about that. Just like the yellow fever and malaria shots we take when we were a kid. Let's just pray this thing's on the up and up, man. So I'm going to continue to have a good time, continue to be aware of what's going on, and I'm not gonna worry too much of things I can't control, man. So again, appreciate everybody that came on the show today. Had a great time. Big fun. Appreciate all y'all. Miss Mac, Mario, Stevie, Moton, J Mo, who was on here? NPR, Mike Stafford, Chi-Town Mo, Rexon, Deacon Hill. Everybody, man, everybody. Cedric Ledette, Raider T Justin, Raider T Just Win. I think that's almost everybody. Yeah. All right, man. Next time, brother.
Next time, brother. Have a good weekend. Be safe.
Peace and
go
blessings.
Chiefs. Go Packers.
I usually do the roll call. You always do the Collective Brothers podcast, the Brothers Network of podcasts. Tuesday morning, time is now. Mike Stafford, Anchor, Spotify, all podcast networks. Tuesday night, your boy AC Sports Live. And Thursday afternoon, the Brothers Collective podcast, 12 o'clock noon. AC Carter, Rodney Saucier, Trey Hobson. And Thursday night, Sucker Punch podcast, Jimmy Mack, 9 p.m. Facebook Live. And Friday night, you are where you need to be, right here with the Who Bangers, the Bruins, every week, Friday at 9. All right, man, going out. Who banging on Transformers? On these suckers quick to tuck their tail and not answer Shaq when they ask a question. Don't be no sucker. Come at Shaq with some beef and some bass in your chest. All right, man. Gonna get me some.
All right, man.
Chicken
Get them
wings.
hot wings.
Hot wings. Peace out, bro.